stuff that he's saying and still be popping out flying with him and one other person on his team. He disrespected every type of gang member. He disrespected rappers like King Von. He disrespected a lot of people. The crazy thing about this is, with all the people that he going after, it's like two things can happen, two extremes. Either something gonna happen to him bad, which people already been trying to mess him up and all that, or they gonna forget about him and he just gonna become a clown. Kind of like how 6ix9ine is. I don't think people is even trying to touch 6ix9ine still. Like, is people still trying to come at 6ix9ine and catch him lacking and all that and catch him slipping? I think he got caught in that bathroom one time and got pieced up. And that was about it. But I don't think at the end of the day he doing music overseas now. I don't think nobody really going for 6ix9ine like they is. But with Charleston White though, like, dog, he was talking about getting booked for Chicago. I don't know if he went or not, but, and what he's saying is he worried about the victims and all that, right? Which makes sense, but he willing to stand on it and live and die on it, which is where at the end of the day it's like, all right, if he willing to die on it, right? Like, you can't do nothing but respect that. And he do be speaking a lot of real. It's just one of them things like, man, I don't think he just doing it for clout, because he know he putting his life on the line with everything he say. You can't just be doing it for clout if you put, I mean, well, people do put their life on the line for clout though, so I can't really say that, but people put their life on the line for clout a lot. But with him though, it seemed like he really believe and mean what he say, and he gonna stand on that no matter what. So, I mean, I've been watching a lot that he really go after a lot of people that people are usually scared to go after. But the thing about him is he one of the first people that I seen admit that he not a thug, he not a gangster. He admit that he a rat on people, that he'll tell on people, bring people down, bring gangsters down, drug dealers down. And he the first one to admit that he did that and do that. And he admit that he playing a character, right? And he just almost, it's a genius marketing move in a way to go to show that, like, how the media can be used to get a point across. And you can almost get people to believe what you want them to believe. And, you know, you can almost, like, use it to your advantage. So he was saying when he was being regular and just doing whatever, nobody cared. But once he started trolling and pulling in that character, that's when attention started coming and he started speaking up on real issues. Right? So it's just crazy to think that he pulling so many cards. Like, I think at the end of the day, like, is good to show that it's different kind of people in a culture, especially in black culture, that's not like, oh, you just got to be a thug killer in order to get support and love. Because a lot of, like, in Detroit where I'm from, especially if you rap and you getting any respect, you getting clowned if you're not a thug, if you're not ready to slide, if you're not ready to, like, people ain't really gonna take you serious for real. Like, you would get taken serious in the corporate world, but when it come to, like, going to Belle Isle, going downtown, you know, you bump into the wrong people, man, they either gonna ignore you, but if they want to press you, they gonna press you. It's like in Detroit, if you gonna interact with your family members and move around through the neighborhoods, you gotta be cut. You gotta be cut, right? So I like when he said, he almost like pushed two guys being in the music industry being diverse and not just being just straight killer, straight demon, right? And it's a whole like tough, a whole hyper masculine thing where, like, when you go to a dangerous city, a lot of women want the cold-hearted killers because it's like a hyper masculine thing of, like, a girl will feel safe. If you go to Philly, I think they say like a Philly or a Brooklyn, New York, or a Detroit, most of the girls in Detroit, especially the hood girls, they going for the straight guys that's out sliding, right? They out catching bodies, right? Or at least shooting, like them girls going for them type of guys. Now, I'll tell you this, even the girls in the suburbs of Detroit will pretend like, oh yeah, you know, whatever, yeah, I'm a good girl, I'm a nurse. But even those girls got stories about being in trap houses. I can't tell you how many girls that work in corporate that told me like, yeah, I was in a trap house 2 years ago, but I'm a good girl now. Like, at the end of the day, like, I don't know if it's just Michigan, Detroit, but I love how people even like Anton Daniel, right? Like, I did an interview with Anton Daniel, and at first I'm like, bro, come on, man, you telling me not to invest in my community? He was telling me like me going back to buy property in my abandoned neighborhood. He like, bro, don't do it, bro. Like, they not gonna appreciate it. They might try to take from you. And I was like, oh, he don't get it. He don't get it. But I don't think he really knew at that time I was really struggling. Like, I ain't had nothing. I was newly divorced. I was broke. Like, I ain't had nothing. So a lot of the people kind of seeing me as like, man, Trey's struggling just like us. But I will say, once things started to grow for me, I was kind of like, oh, shoot. Like, I did have to distance myself a little bit and move accordingly. Because that's when people start looking at you like, oh, yeah, you got something I want or something I can get or whatever. Not even if it's just trying to take it. It's just more like, it's a spotlight that come on you. So, like, I get why, people like Charleston White and Anton Daniels at least create a different opinion. Because the thing is, like, my biggest thing, no matter what lifestyle you live and who you are, if you're willing to stand on your word, you will get respect. Now, you could be somebody that's like, let's say if Anton, the thing about why Anton was feeling how he was feeling, because he like, man, I bought property in Detroit. They tore it up and they just stripped it down. Anton, one of the people that most Detroit thugs and guys will look at like, oh, we about to try to rob him, especially because he got a lot of nice stuff on. But Anton, like, I don't want nothing to do with those guys at all. I don't want to even be around them guys. That ain't my concern. Me, I'm like, I still be around it. So, like, I try to still have a certain way of moving to where if I do go around, it's like, okay, I got the right guys around me that if somebody try to do that, then they got my back. Or I'm going to go somewhere where I know the people that's in the streets ain't about to try to do, you know what I mean? They ain't about to try to play with me like that, right? But I get what he be saying, like, man, at a certain level, just get out of that. You ain't even got to be a part of that. But it's crazy in the black community, in the black culture. Like, that's the thing we glorify for the most, though. Like, even if you a famous rapper, that's why they still be shooting dice and all that. Because that's the thing that the world praises more for, like the violence, the robbing, the music. So it'd be hard because it's like, at the end of the day, like, no matter what, I'm still a trained fighter. I do kickboxing. I love guns. I love shooting. But I think it's a difference when you like hyper aggressive, just ready to drill 24. Like, it's a certain mindset living in Detroit that it'll give you that mindset if you really be outside like that. And I be outside like everywhere. And people look at me, they be like, oh, he don't look like he from the hood. He be wearing button ups and he talk proper or whatever. He talk good. He ain't from the hood, whatever that mean. But I be out here. I be outside. I be walking sometimes, catching Ubers. Like, I be out here, so it's like you gotta keep your head on the swivel. But I mean, once I get to that point where I'm like moving to the nice part of the burbs, then I'll do that. But in the meantime, it's like survival of the fittest when you live in certain neighborhoods. So when you got these guys speaking like, okay, that ain't the end goal, have a different end goal. Like, I think it's cool to see, but at the end of the day, with Charleston, with the trolling, like Anton, I don't think he really be trolling people like that. But with the stuff Charleston White be saying, even if it's trolling, like, man, that's gonna come with a cost, and it's sad because it's like it ain't no way he gonna be able to. The only way is people look at him as like, okay, he a civilian. We not about to go after him. We about to go after the thugs and gangsters first. That's what 6ix9ine was saying. 6ix9ine was saying like, if y'all go after me before y'all go after the thugs and gangsters y'all beefing with, then y'all not real. So it's so many dynamics to this. At the end of the day, like, I'm just glad to see it's different topics in different ways that we can represent the culture. I think as long as you're willing to stand on what you believe in and fight and ride for that no matter what, boom. Whether you're a corporate guy, no matter what, whatever you is, like whatever you do in business, whatever like your lifestyle is, if you're willing to ride on something, like, it's like, okay, bet, right? But I think they look at it as like, man, these guys selling out, whatever. So I like how he stand on it. Like, look, man, I ain't no thug. I ain't this. He's still standing on it, though. That's still some thug type shit. You know what I mean? So, but like and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.